The King's Man is a prequel to the Kingsman movies. It stars Ralph Fiennes as the Duke of Oxford. He is a pacifist and humanitarian who has a terrible tragedy happen to him in the film's opening. So now he smothers his son Conrad and won't let him do anything. Won't let him go to war. After World War I kicks off, he won't let him enlist, and he uses his connections to keep Conrad away from it. But also the movie introduces a secret group of individual members having to do things for their own gain. So an early version of the Kingsman, basically. So it's Sholo, his trusty, I guess, right-hand man, I guess. There's also Polly. She's the head maid who has a network of gossipers and information collectors. So the four of them decide to embark on a mission to assassinate anyone who's trying to start this war and keep it going. Mainly by a mysterious Scottish villain and his flock. And the flock is rather, intriguing. It almost reminds me of it's like a homage to Austin Powers, basically. So you have like the Rasputin, Gavrilo Princip, you got the Femme Fatale, and you've got a couple more in there. They twist history in a funny way to make it happen. Obviously it didn't happen like that, but it's funny just to see the machinations of the villains behind the scenes. The movie definitely misrepresents itself in the trailers, though. The trailers make it seem like this super, it's like a Kingsman movie, but period piece, but it's not. It's more of a war film, so it definitely doesn't have too much going on in terms of action. There's only like 3 action sequences. There's the fight with Rasputin. It doesn't happen until like an hour into the movie. There's a battle in the trenches after Conrad enlists in World War I. And then there's the final battle on the Scottish cliff thing. It's like a lair, the villain lair. So the movie, yeah, it does still have really strong direction. Sometimes the direction is experimental, like there's a fight scene where the camera is placed on the hilt of a sword and you get to like see a stab. That didn't last very long, but it was just like an experimental thing. So the direction's still pretty strong. The cast is a good job, but it's just the story just doesn't seem to be quite there. Mainly the middle. The middle sags really badly because the opening movie starts off, pretty, clandestine group of people trying to stop the war, villains trying to make the war happen. But then something happens in the middle and Conrad is enlists, and they have this big tangent where he goes into the military. So it's like his character sort of gets sidelined. It almost feels like a really movie's supposed to have subplots, but this one just feels really heavy, and it just like brings down the whole movie because no one else does anything. And then of course after that we finally jump back into the a plot with the Scottish villain. So yeah, the movie does feel bad in the pacing department in the middle, and it sags a lot. It has a lot of heavy-handed themes because it's a war film, so it's not quite the slam-bang action movie that the trailers make it seem to be. It's more of a thoughtful war film that with some stylish action sequences. There are some other things I can't get into that were kind of bothersome, but overall the Kingsman is still entertaining time because it has a really great cast. It's definitely not the best of the series, but I mean it's worth checking out if you just want to see it. So I give the Kingsman a 6.5 out of 10.